Disneyland, the happiest place on earth, may seem like a world of laughter, magic, and fairy tales. But behind the cheerful facade lies a darker, hidden side. Visitors and employees alike have reported eerie encounters that defy explanation, shadows moving where no one should be, and whispers echoing through empty corridors long after the park has closed. The park's history is filled with tales that are both chilling and fascinating, a reminder that even the most magical places can hold secrets that haunt forever. From the haunted rides that creak in the night, to abandoned areas where the air feels heavy with unseen presence, Disneyland has become a hotspot for paranormal activity. Some stories tell of spirits who remain attached to the park, lingering near attractions they loved or places where tragedy struck. Others speak of ghostly figures glimpsed in reflections, fleeting shadows darting across hallways, and cold spots that send shivers down the spine of even the bravest employees. These 10 real ghost stories from Disneyland are not the stuff of legend alone. They are accounts from witnesses who experienced the unexplainable firsthand. Each encounter offers a glimpse into the paranormal, showing that behind the laughter and fireworks, a darker side of the park persists. For those brave enough to explore, Disneyland is not just a theme park. It is a labyrinth of haunted corners and eerie tales, waiting to be discovered by those who dare to look beyond the magic. Ghost Story. Number 1. The Haunted Mansion, New Orleans Square, Disneyland, California. The Haunted Mansion in Disneyland is far more than a whimsical attraction, with playful ghosts and catchy tunes. Behind the cheerful facade lies a chilling history of paranormal experiences and inexplicable events that have haunted visitors, cast members, and paranormal enthusiasts for decades. From the moment you approach the mansion, an unsettling atmosphere seems to cling to the air, a heavy tension that goes beyond mere theme park theatrics. Some say the land it sits on has long been cursed, steeped in eerie occurrences dating back before Disneyland even existed. Locals and longtime employees whisper about strange cold spots, fleeting shadows, and the sensation of being watched, sensations that leave even the most skeptical guests unnerved. Inside the mansion, the ride itself becomes a descent into an otherworldly nightmare. As guests float past the dimly lit corridors and ornate halls, the illusions of ghosts take on an unnerving sense of realism. Many have reported seeing figures out of the corner of their eyes, human shapes that vanish the moment they try to focus on them. Some guests claim they have heard whispers and faint voices calling their names, although the ride itself is soundproofed and perfectly timed. There are stories of apparitions appearing in the mirrors, distorted faces looking back with hollow, empty eyes, and some have sworn they felt a cold hand brush against them during the ride. Cast members, those who have spent thousands of hours inside the mansion, tell stories that are far more disturbing than anything guests encounter. Doors have been known to slam shut on their own, lights flicker violently without electrical explanation, and eerie laughter echoes through the halls when no one else is around. One famous account involves a cast member who heard a full conversation taking place in the attic, voices that described events long before Disneyland existed. The worker reported turning to investigate, only to find the attic completely empty and locked. These phenomena have been so persistent that several paranormal investigations have taken place inside the mansion, each uncovering an unnerving amount of activity. EMF spikes, temperature drops, and recordings of unexplainable sounds all point to the possibility that something beyond the ordinary is at work. The design of the mansion itself has been said to attract spirits. Architecturally, it is modeled after classic Southern antebellum homes with a Gothic twist. and the combination of shadowy corners, reflective surfaces, and hidden passageways creates the perfect environment for paranormal activity. Even the paintings that line the walls have reportedly been the site of strange occurrences. Guests have noticed the eyes in the portraits, following them with an almost sentient awareness, while some claim the faces shift subtly when left unobserved. Others have reported hearing footsteps echoing behind them when they are entirely alone, or doors creaking open to reveal rooms that appear empty moments before. Some of the most chilling stories come from visitors who claim to have been touched by unseen hands. In one well-documented incident, a family riding in the doom buggies felt a sudden icy touch on their shoulders, followed by an overwhelming sense of dread. Security footage reviewed later showed the family alone, with no mechanical explanation for the sensation or the chilling drop in temperature captured by thermal cameras. In another account, a child reportedly spoke to a ghostly figure, describing the spirit as a woman in an old-fashioned gown who warned them not to go into a specific hallway. Upon review, the hallway was empty, and employees confirmed that no one had been present at the time. Over the years, these reports have only grown in number, creating a legend around the haunted mansion that transcends Disneyland lore. It is not unusual for paranormal investigators to spend hours trying to document the supernatural activity, often leaving with footage that captures inexplicable movements or audio recordings of whispers and laughter. Some visitors who spend hours inside the mansion report persistent nightmares afterward, vivid dreams of ghostly faces and shadowy figures reaching out from the darkness. Others have reported physical sensations, like sudden headaches or the feeling of being followed, even after leaving the park. Even outside, the ride, the land surrounding the haunted mansion, has been a point of fascination for ghost hunters. Rumors suggest that the area may have been home to restless spirits long before Disneyland was built. Historians and locals have recounted tales of mysterious deaths, unmarked graves, and disappearances in the vicinity. While these stories are difficult to verify, the consistency of the reports adds to the mansion's aura of malevolence. Some believe that the spirits have been drawn to the mansion itself, lured by the energy of the elaborate illusions and the constant flow of visitors. Others suggest that the mansion may be a gateway to a realm of lost souls, a place where the line between the living and the dead is disturbingly thin. Employees who work the late-night shifts often experience the most terrifying encounters. Custodians, security personnel, and ride operators have all reported sightings of figures that vanish upon approach. Some have heard disembodied footsteps or even laughter echoing through empty corridors. One particularly chilling account involves a night security guard who witnessed a shadowy figure moving against the direction of the ride's vehicles, gliding silently across the floor before disappearing into a wall. The guard described a deep, oppressive feeling that lingered for hours afterward, a sensation of being watched that followed him home. The haunted mansion continues to draw thrill seekers and ghost enthusiasts alike, many hoping to witness the unexplained for themselves. However, it is clear that the mansion is far more than a theme park attraction. It is a place where the veil between the living and the dead seems unnervingly thin, where spirits linger long after their physical presence has faded. The combination of historical design, dark corridors, and a history of strange activity has cemented the haunted mansion as one of the most haunted locations in the United States, leaving both visitors and staff questioning what is real and what is not. For those who dare to enter, the haunted mansion is not just a ride, it is an encounter with the unknown, a chilling reminder that the happiest place on earth harbors dark secrets. As you float past its shadowy hallways and peer into its dimly lit chambers, remember that some guests have left with more than just memories. They have left with stories of the supernatural, stories that continue to haunt them long after their visit. Whether you are a believer in the paranormal or a skeptic drawn in by curiosity, one thing is certain. The Haunted Mansion at Disneyland is a place where the dead are never truly gone, and some spirits will not rest until they have made their presence known. Number 2. Pirates of the Caribbean, New Orleans Square, Disneyland, California. The Pirates of the Caribbean ride in Disneyland is often seen as a fun, swashbuckling adventure with colorful animatronics and catchy music. Yet, beneath its playful exterior lies a dark, unsettling history that has intrigued and terrified visitors for decades. The attraction is built upon a foundation that some believe may be cursed, with tales of ghostly apparitions and unexplainable phenomena that defy conventional explanation. From the very first step onto the ride, guests sometimes report feeling an eerie chill, as if unseen eyes are watching their every move, and an overwhelming sense of unease lingers in the air. Inside the ride, the ambiance transforms from whimsical to haunting. The flickering lights and shadowy corners create the perfect environment for strange occurrences. Many guests have reported seeing figures in the darkness, shadowy pirates that seem to move independently of the ride's animatronics. Some have described these apparitions as eerily lifelike, with glowing eyes and features that shift unnaturally. Whispers, laughter, and the faint clinking of chains have been reported in areas where there are no speakers or mechanical sources. Guests sometimes feel a sudden coldness that sweeps over them, a chill that has no logical origin and is often accompanied by the sensation of being touched by an invisible hand. Employees working inside Pirates of the Caribbean have shared even more disturbing experiences. Ride operators and maintenance staff have reported hearing footsteps behind them when no one is present, and doors that slam shut without cause. There are accounts of audio recordings capturing faint voices that do not match the ride's soundtrack, as well as figures appearing on security cameras that vanish when approached. One security guard famously claimed to see a pirate standing in an empty hallway, staring directly into the camera before disappearing into thin air. These events are so consistent that paranormal investigators have been invited multiple times to explore the ride, discovering unusual EMF readings, temperature anomalies, and other signs of unexplained activity. The design of the ride itself may contribute to the paranormal experiences. Its intricate layout of dark passageways, hidden chambers, and reflective water surfaces provides an ideal setting for ghostly activity. Guests have reported seeing fleeting reflections in the water, showing figures that are not part of the ride, and shadows that appear to move contrary to the animatronic patterns. In certain sections, riders claim to hear soft whispers that seem to come from nowhere, calling their names or warning them to look away. Some have even felt a sudden weight on their shoulders, as though an invisible presence is pressing down on them, sending chills through their entire body. Historical accounts add to the eerie reputation of Pirates of the Caribbean. The ride is based loosely on tales of piracy and maritime violence, and some believe that these themes attract restless spirits. Stories have circulated about guests and staff encountering ghosts of sailors and pirates who appear to reenact scenes of their final moments. Some of these encounters have been so vivid that witnesses describe them as more real than the animatronics themselves, with detailed clothing, facial expressions, and movements that defy any mechanical explanation. One of the most famous reports involves a group of visitors who noticed a dark figure standing silently in the background of a scene depicting a pirate raid. When they focused on it, the figure vanished, yet later photos of the ride captured a shadowy silhouette that was not part of the ride's design. Another story tells of a maintenance worker who, while repairing the ride at night, felt a sudden, icy grip on his arm. When he turned, no one was there, but he described hearing whispered threats in a voice that was unmistakably human. Incidents like these have continued over the years, creating an ongoing legend that blurs the line between Disneyland fantasy and real horror. The Pirates of the Caribbean ride also has sections where audio anomalies occur. Guests have reported hearing screams, muttered curses, and the faint sounds of cannon fire that were not part of the ride's soundtrack. Some have described these noises as echoing from invisible chambers, with no mechanical or electronic source to explain them. Others have felt inexplicable movements in their ride vehicles, as if a ghostly force is nudging or steering them. These sensations are accompanied by a deep sense of foreboding, an almost tangible awareness that something malevolent is nearby. Even outside the ride, the surrounding area of New Orleans Square seems to carry a lingering paranormal presence. Many staff and visitors report seeing unexplained shadows dart across alleyways and hearing footsteps on empty streets. Some claim that certain nights feel charged with an electric, otherworldly energy, making even the bustling theme park feel ominously quiet. The combination of the ride's historical pirate themes, dark design, and consistent reports of paranormal activity has made Pirates of the Caribbean a magnet for ghost enthusiasts and thrill seekers hoping to experience the supernatural firsthand. Whether you are a skeptical visitor or a believer in the paranormal, it is difficult to deny that something unusual occurs within the dark corridors of Pirates of the Caribbean. The ride is more than a simple theme park attraction. It is a place where the boundaries between the living and the dead feel unnervingly thin. Every creak of wood, splash of water, and flicker of light seems to hint at the presence of something beyond the ordinary. Guests often leave with more than memories of adventure. They leave with lingering unease and the knowledge that some spirits may never rest. Number 3. Matterhorn Bobsleds, Fantasyland, Disneyland, California. The Matterhorn Bobsleds ride, perched high in Fantasyland, is known for its thrilling twists, turns, and icy peaks. Yet beneath the excitement lies a chilling reputation that has haunted Disneyland visitors for decades. Many guests describe a feeling that something is lurking just beyond the icy tunnels, a presence unseen yet undeniably felt. From the moment riders approach the towering mountain, an inexplicable tension hangs in the air, as if the mountain itself holds dark secrets it is desperate to keep hidden. Inside the mountain, the atmosphere shifts dramatically. The cold air and dim lighting combine to create shadows that seem to move independently of the ride's design. Guests have reported glimpsing figures darting across the tunnels, barely visible in the flickering light, only to vanish moments later. The faint sound of growls echoes through the chambers, chilling riders to the bone. Some claim to hear footsteps trailing their bobsleds, even though the ride is engineered to operate mechanically, with no additional personnel present. The sensation of being watched is pervasive, making even the bravest riders tense and uneasy. Employees who work on the Matterhorn bobsleds have shared stories far more disturbing than what visitors experience. Ride operators recount hearing whispers when the ride is empty, and doors inside the mountain slamming without mechanical cause. There have been reports of machinery malfunctioning at the same moments employees claim to feel a heavy presence nearby. Security cameras occasionally capture fleeting shadows in areas inaccessible to guests, shadows that move against the flow of the ride or linger near corners where no one could be standing. Some staff have felt an icy hand brush their arms, accompanied by a sudden drop in temperature in specific tunnels. The legend of the Matterhorn extends beyond mere ghost stories. The ride was built on a hillside with a complex history, including tales of laborers who suffered accidents during construction. These tragedies have fueled theories that restless spirits inhabit the mountain, drawn to its frozen chambers and echoing tunnels. Guests have described seeing figures in old-fashioned work clothes, appearing briefly, then disappearing when approached. Some claim to have glimpsed a young boy wandering along the icy paths, only for him to vanish as the bobsleds roar past. These experiences suggest a lingering connection between the ride's present and its dark past. Paranormal investigators have been drawn to the Matterhorn bobsleds due to the frequency and consistency of strange occurrences. EMF readings spike in certain areas of the mountain, often without any electronic devices to account for them. Audio recordings sometimes capture low whispers, growls, or footsteps that cannot be explained by the ride's sound system. Some investigators have even noted temperature anomalies, with sudden, localized drops in the middle of tunnels where the air should remain relatively stable. Visitors report feeling pressure on their shoulders, like an invisible force is following them through the twists and turns. Specific areas of the ride seem to be more active than others. In one notorious tunnel, several riders have reported seeing a shadowy figure standing at the far end, motionless yet unmistakably human in form. The figure does not appear in the ride's design and vanishes when approached. In another section, the sound of distant screams and growls has been reported, sending chills through the spine and leaving riders breathless with fear. Water features inside the mountain sometimes ripple inexplicably, as if touched by invisible hands, creating unsettling reflections that make it difficult to distinguish between the ride's animatronics and something far more sinister. Historical context adds to the unsettling nature of the Matterhorn. Built during Disneyland's early expansion, the ride has long been associated with accidents and injuries, including the tragic death of a park worker who fell during maintenance. Some believe that these events left imprints on the mountain, creating residual energy that manifests as ghostly activity. Guests occasionally report fleeting glimpses of this worker or hearing a faint cry that seems to echo from deep within the mountain. These accounts contribute to a growing legend that the Matterhorn is more than just a thrilling ride. It is a place where the line between the living and the dead feels almost non-existent. Even outside the ride, the mountain exudes an air of foreboding. Staff and visitors have described feeling an unexplained chill when passing near the Matterhorn at night. Shadows sometimes flicker across the surrounding area, and faint sounds of movement can be heard, even when no one is present. The combination of the mountain's dark history, enclosed tunnels, and consistent paranormal reports makes it a magnet for those fascinated by the supernatural. Visitors often leave the Matterhorn bobsleds with more than memories of adrenaline-fueled thrills. Many describe lingering feelings of unease, the sensation of being followed, or the haunting memory of a shadow that seemed almost alive. The ride transforms the fantasy of Disneyland into a chilling encounter with the unknown, leaving both believers and skeptics questioning what lurks in the icy darkness. The Matterhorn is a stark reminder that even in the happiest place on earth, there are places where fear and mystery endure. and where the spirits of the past continue to wander unseen. Number 4. Club 33, New Orleans Square, Disneyland, California. Hidden behind an unassuming doorway in New Orleans Square, Club 33 is an exclusive members-only lounge known for its luxury and secrecy. Yet beyond the elegance and privacy, there is a darker, more unsettling side to this secretive enclave that few visitors ever witness. Staff and members alike have whispered about strange occurrences that cannot be explained, from objects moving on their own to unexplained cold spots in certain corners of the club. The building itself has an aura of mystery. Guests often report an uneasy feeling as they step inside, as if invisible eyes are tracking their every move. The antique furnishings, while beautiful, seem to cast shadows that shift independently of the lighting. Some describe seeing fleeting figures out of the corner of their eye, vanishing the moment they attempt to focus. There are even tales of laughter echoing through empty hallways, laughter that is sharp, cold, and impossible to place. Employees working in Club 33 have shared their experiences of items mysteriously rearranging themselves, glasses tipping over without contact, and doors locking or opening on their own. On several occasions, staff have reported feeling sudden drops in temperature, a chill that lingers even in the summer months. Security footage has occasionally caught strange, fleeting shapes that cannot be attributed to human presence or mechanical malfunctions. These anomalies suggest that Club 33 may harbor more than just secrets of exclusivity. It may house spirits that have lingered long after their time. Paranormal investigators who have gained rare access to Club 33 have noted abnormal readings on their equipment. EMF spikes occur in specific rooms, and some investigators report hearing whispered conversations or soft footsteps despite the club being empty. Historical context adds to the unease. The building has stood for decades, its walls having seen countless events, parties, and personal dramas. Some speculate that the residual energy from these moments may have manifested as paranormal activity, leaving traces of emotion embedded in the very structure of the club. Members have also shared their own stories of encountering inexplicable phenomena. Tales include lights flickering in rooms with no electrical issues, objects appearing in places where they were not previously, and the sensation of being watched when alone. Some have described feeling a sudden oppressive heaviness, as if an unseen presence is pressing down on them. Others report fleeting glimpses of shadowy figures moving gracefully through the club, disappearing when approached. Club 33's aura of mystery and haunting presence contrasts sharply with Disneyland's cheerful exterior. The juxtaposition of luxury, secrecy, and paranormal activity creates an atmosphere that is both fascinating and unnerving. Even for those who do not believe in ghosts, the stories surrounding Club 33 provoke a sense of discomfort, a creeping awareness that something unseen may be present. Number 5. Sleeping Beauty Castle Walkthrough, Fantasyland, Disneyland, California. The iconic Sleeping Beauty Castle Walkthrough in Fantasyland is one of Disneyland's most enchanting attractions, drawing visitors with its fairy tale charm and intricate storytelling. Yet beneath the storybook magic lies an unsettling history that has given rise to countless ghost stories and paranormal accounts over the years. Guests often report feeling an eerie presence as they wander through the dimly lit corridors of the castle, where the whimsical scenes of dragons, knights, and princesses seem to come alive in ways that are more disturbing than magical. The castle's interior is filled with detailed dioramas depicting Sleeping Beauty's story, but some visitors have reported unusual occurrences that cannot be explained by optical illusions or mechanical effects. Shadows sometimes appear to move independently of the exhibits, and cold spots manifest suddenly, even on the warmest days. Staff members have described the sensation of being followed by invisible figures, especially when maintaining or cleaning the walkthrough after park hours. Some have heard soft, whispering voices echoing through the hallways, voices that speak in tones not captured by the diorama's audio tracks. Several accounts describe objects shifting or falling without explanation. Small props within the displays are occasionally found out of place, or accessories like swords and crowns appear where they were never placed. One employee recalled checking a display that was perfectly aligned during the day, only to return hours later to find it subtly rearranged, as if an unseen hand had passed through. Other visitors have reported seeing fleeting glimpses of shadowy figures near the dragon's lair, moving just out of clear sight before vanishing entirely. Paranormal investigators who have been allowed rare access to the Sleeping Beauty Castle walkthrough note high EMF readings and cold spots concentrated around certain scenes, particularly those depicting the dragon. The combination of eerie lighting, creaking wooden floors, and quiet corners seems to amplify feelings of being watched. Guests occasionally report a sense of heaviness in the air, or the sudden impression that someone or something is breathing near them, despite the rooms being empty. Historical context adds to the unsettling atmosphere. The castle has stood for decades, hosting millions of visitors and countless staff. It has been the site of long hours, intense maintenance work, and dramatic storytelling performances, all of which could have left traces of residual energy. Some theorists believe that the combination of these emotional imprints and the physical structure's design creates an environment ripe for paranormal activity, where apparitions and disembodied voices are more likely to manifest. There are even tales of the dragon figure itself behaving oddly. On rare occasions, guests and staff claim to hear growls or see eyes flicker, moments that are impossible to attribute to the mechanical features of the display. Some visitors swear that the dragon seems to move imperceptibly, shifting its head or tail ever so slightly when no one is watching directly. The unsettling experiences in the Sleeping Beauty Castle walkthrough are particularly chilling because they occur in a place meant to embody innocence and wonder, creating a dissonant feeling that lingers long after guests leave. Number 6. Main Street, USA, Disneyland, California. Main Street, USA is the iconic entrance to Disneyland, designed to transport visitors to a nostalgic, turn-of-the-century American town. Its charm is undeniable, with brightly colored storefronts, vintage signage, and cheerful music filling the air. Yet beneath this cheerful facade, Main Street harbors a series of mysterious occurrences and ghostly tales that have puzzled staff and visitors alike for decades. The street, often bustling with guests, has a history that makes it one of the most surprisingly haunted areas of the park, a place where the past seems to linger just out of sight, behind the polished facades and cheerful parades. Many reports describe fleeting apparitions, figures dressed in period clothing from the early 1900s, walking along the street only to vanish when observed closely. Witnesses claim to see a young boy playing near the candy shop, a woman in a long dress appearing briefly at a window, or the faint outline of a gentleman tipping his hat before disappearing entirely. These sightings often occur during quieter park hours, particularly at dawn or after closing, when shadows lengthen and the street's cheerful energy takes on a strange, almost oppressive quality. Staff members who work overnight or early morning shifts have reported the sensation of being watched while performing routine maintenance or cleaning. Doors that were securely closed sometimes open on their own. Lights flicker without explanation, and some of the vintage props seem to shift slightly from their original positions. One custodian recounted pushing a mop down the empty street, only to hear the unmistakable sound of someone walking behind him, footsteps echoing on the brick pavement, and when he turned, no one was there. The street's historic design and extensive use of period architecture may contribute to the eerie experiences. Many buildings incorporate authentic early 20th century elements, salvaged from real towns, and some speculate that the energy of these old materials carries residual emotional imprints. Guests have described moments where the air feels inexplicably heavy, a chill passing over them, even on the hottest days. In some areas, the cheerful music that plays over the speakers seems to warp, the melodies slowing or echoing in a way that feels unsettling, as if time itself bends in certain corners of the street. Main Street's haunted reputation extends beyond visual apparitions. Several visitors have reported hearing whispered conversations when no one is around, or laughter that seems too faint, too hollow to belong to any of the park's performers. Some have felt sudden cold drafts in areas with no ventilation, while others describe the sensation of fingers brushing against their arms or shoulders in moments when the street is completely empty. These occurrences are not limited to employees or after-hours guests. Some have happened during the day, in plain sight of large crowds, though witnesses often hesitate to speak up for fear of being dismissed. Even the vehicles along Main Street, from the horse-drawn trolley to the early automobiles, have been linked to paranormal activity. Staff occasionally report the trolley moving slightly when it should be stationary, or hearing the sounds of a clip-clopping horse when the barn is empty. In some cases, ride operators have felt a sudden drop in temperature or a strange presence while preparing the trolley for the day, adding to the overall sense that Main Street is far more than just an inviting entryway to the park. Historically, Main Street occupies the area that inspired Walt Disney himself when designing Disneyland, modeled after Marceline, Missouri, his childhood town. While the buildings are reconstructions, the emotional resonance of Disney's vision, combined with decades of human activity and countless personal experiences, may have created a unique environment for paranormal manifestations. The sense of nostalgia that is so carefully crafted can blur with feelings of the uncanny, leaving visitors with an impression that they are not alone, that unseen watchers roam the street alongside them. Guests have also recounted hearing snippets of conversations that seem to echo from another time. Some claim to hear the voices of children playing, their laughter mixed with the distant calling of street vendors, sounds that are strangely out of place in the modern park. Others describe glimpsing shadows, flitting behind shop windows, sometimes interacting with objects in a manner inconsistent with the Disney performers' routines. One frequent visitor noted seeing the window display of a bakery cake rotate slowly when no mechanical system was engaged, and then suddenly stop, as if someone had deliberately paused it. Main Street's atmosphere transforms as the day progresses. The vibrant sunlight of morning and afternoon can feel replaced by an oppressive stillness when dusk falls, when the electric lamps illuminate the street with an artificial glow. Some witnesses report seeing shadowy figures appearing near the windows or walking along the rooftops, vanishing as soon as they are noticed. The eeriness is particularly pronounced near the train station and the gazebo, where many staff members report the feeling of being watched or followed, especially when preparing the area for night closures. Despite the cheerful environment, Main Street, USA, holds secrets that have accumulated over decades. Longtime employees speak quietly of unexplained sounds, mysterious footprints, and the sensation of invisible presences. Guests sometimes report a heavy feeling of melancholy that lingers even after leaving the area, as if the street itself carries memories of the countless lives that have passed through it, both real and imagined. The combination of historic design, long-standing human activity, and residual emotional energy seems to create an environment where paranormal encounters are not only possible, but perhaps inevitable. The juxtaposition of happiness and horror makes Main Street, USA uniquely unnerving. Visitors come seeking nostalgia, whimsy, and fun, yet some leave with an indelible sense that they were not alone. The line between fantasy and reality blurs in unsettling ways, and those who have experienced the more inexplicable phenomena often report being unable to shake the feeling of being observed or followed long after their visit. The haunted tales of Main Street, USA remind us that even the happiest places on Earth can hide shadows, whispers, and secrets that are all too real. Number 7. The Disneyland Hotel, near the park, Anaheim, California. The Disneyland Hotel stands as one of the most iconic and luxurious lodging options near the park. Yet beneath its polished exterior and cheerful ambiance lies a history peppered with paranormal activity that continues to unsettle staff and guests alike. While most visitors see the hotel as a gateway to magical experiences, those who stay overnight, especially during the quiet hours when the park is closed, sometimes encounter inexplicable phenomena that hint at a darker side of the happiest place on Earth. Reports from hotel staff have been consistent over the years, with many recounting strange occurrences that cannot be explained by ordinary means. Housekeeping teams often describe rooms that appear to be occupied when they are not, personal items moved or missing, and electronic devices turning on or off by themselves. Guests have also reported odd sounds, footsteps echoing in empty hallways, doors creaking open without wind or draft, and the distant laughter of children that fades as quickly as it begins. These auditory experiences are especially unnerving late at night, when the quiet of the hotel heightens the feeling of being watched or followed. Some visitors claim to see ghostly apparitions roaming the halls, often appearing as figures in old-fashioned attire from the 1950s and 1960s, the era when the hotel first opened. One frequently reported phenomenon involves the elevators, where guests and staff alike have reported sudden stops between floors, accompanied by the sensation of someone unseen pressing the buttons or standing close by. In other areas, the hotel's pools and gardens have been cited as hotspots for mysterious, shadowy figures that vanish when approached, and reflections in windows sometimes show forms that are not present when the room is entered. The hotel's long history and connection to Disneyland's early days may be contributing factors to its haunted reputation. Many staff believe that residual energy from past guests, employees, or perhaps even construction workers who labored on the original site has lingered over the decades. Reports often mention the feeling of cold spots in otherwise warm rooms, or sudden drops in temperature in hallways, sometimes accompanied by unexplained electrical malfunctions. Some of the more chilling accounts involve a feeling of heavy presence pressing against one's chest or shoulders, leaving witnesses with a deep sense of unease. Visitors who have stayed in the older towers of the hotel often recount experiences that defy logical explanation. Some describe waking up in the middle of the night to see figures standing at the foot of their beds, only to vanish when they turn on the lights. Others report hearing whispers just beyond the range of hearing, fragmented words that seem to carry messages or warnings. These ghostly encounters are not limited to the rooms themselves. Many guests report strange activity in the hotel's hallways and lobbies, where reflections in mirrors show figures that disappear upon second glance. Even staff working behind the scenes have shared unsettling experiences. Maintenance personnel have reported tools being moved, lights flickering for no reason, and security cameras capturing fleeting shadows that appear to walk across hallways. Some employees refuse to work late-night shifts in certain areas of the hotel because of the palpable sense of unease, describing encounters that make them feel watched or followed, even when alone. The combination of the hotel's long history, continuous human activity, and the inherent eeriness of empty corridors creates an environment ripe for unexplained phenomena. Several long-term employees believe the hotel is haunted by multiple spirits, some benign and others far more malevolent. Some apparitions seem to mimic the forms of previous guests, dressed in period-specific clothing, while others are less defined, appearing as dark shadows or fleeting movements in peripheral vision. Guests and staff alike have reported feeling sudden chills, hearing faint footsteps, or experiencing electronic disturbances that cannot be traced to a technical cause. These experiences create an unsettling contrast with the hotel's otherwise cheerful and luxurious environment, giving the feeling that the building carries the weight of memories from the past. The Disneyland Hotel's pool area and outdoor gardens are also sites of frequent paranormal reports. Several witnesses describe seeing figures near the water's edge late at night, only to find the area empty upon investigation. In some cases, guests report hearing children playing and splashing in the pools when no one is present. The sound of laughter, the fleeting sight of movement in the shadows, and the occasional unexplained splash all contribute to the hotel's reputation as a haunted location. Staff often avoid these areas after dark, citing a sense of unease and the strange feeling of being watched. Even the hotel's restaurants and common areas have been cited as locations where paranormal activity occurs. Guests have reported seeing chairs slide across the floor, tables shaking slightly, and objects falling from shelves without cause. Staff describe hearing whispers in empty dining rooms and encountering cold spots near certain tables or corners. These incidents are rarely documented officially, but the consistency of reports over the decades suggests that there is something unexplained lingering within the hotel's walls. Many paranormal investigators have attempted to capture evidence of the hotel's hauntings, with mixed results. While electronic equipment sometimes registers unexplained energy spikes, EVPs, or temperature fluctuations, the true nature of the phenomenon remains elusive. Guests and staff continue to share stories of their experiences, creating an ongoing narrative that blends the cheerful charm of Disneyland with the chilling undertones of unexplained activity. The juxtaposition of whimsy and horror makes the Disneyland Hotel a unique and unsettling place for those who dare to stay, a reminder that even in the happiest places on Earth, shadows of the past may linger unseen. Number 8. The River Belle Terrace, Frontierland, Disneyland, Anaheim, California. The River Belle Terrace, a charming riverside restaurant located in Frontierland, is known for its picturesque views and relaxed dining atmosphere. However, beneath its cheerful facade and the lively chatter of Disneyland visitors, this seemingly innocent spot has a darker side that has long intrigued ghost enthusiasts and thrill seekers alike. The terrace sits near the rivers of America, an area steeped in history and mystery, and over the years, both staff and visitors have reported eerie experiences that suggest it is more than just a dining location. It may be a hotspot for paranormal activity. Many of the strange occurrences begin subtly. Staff have reported hearing the soft sounds of footsteps when no one is present, or the gentle clinking of cutlery and dishes when the dining room is empty. Guests occasionally speak of feeling an inexplicable chill as they approach certain corners of the restaurant, or sensing the presence of someone standing just behind them, only to turn around and find no one there. These incidents, while initially easy to dismiss, have occurred with enough frequency and consistency that some employees have come to accept them as part of the location's character. The terrace's close proximity to the rivers of America seems to amplify its haunting reputation. On quiet evenings, some diners have reported seeing fleeting figures across the water, silhouettes that vanish when observed directly. Others speak of hearing whispers carried on the evening breeze, almost as if the spirits of long-gone guests or workers from Disneyland's past are attempting to communicate. The experience of sitting in a peaceful riverside setting, only to feel an unseen presence brushing past, can be deeply unsettling and has left more than one visitor feeling uneasy throughout their meal. One of the most commonly reported phenomena involves the restaurant's back hallway and kitchen areas. Staff have occasionally described doors opening or closing on their own, objects shifting slightly, and shadows flitting at the edge of their vision. These moments often occur late at night, after the park has closed, when the normally bustling space is silent and empty. Employees working the evening shifts sometimes speak of hearing laughter, whispers, or murmurs that cannot be traced to any human source, heightening the sense that the terrace is a place where the past and present intersect in mysterious ways. Some guests have shared chilling stories about sightings in the main dining area. Several accounts describe figures in period clothing, standing near empty tables, or sitting at the edge of the riverbank visible through the windows. These figures are often reported as being semi-transparent or fading in and out of view, creating an impression of an otherworldly presence that is both compelling and terrifying. A few visitors have even claimed that their photographs of the restaurant revealed ghostly apparitions, faint shapes, or orbs of light that were not visible to the naked eye at the time. The historical context of Frontierland adds to the terrace's haunting. The rivers of America, and by extension, the River Belle Terrace, are inspired by the adventures and settlements of America's frontier days, a period marked by exploration, hardship, and untold stories of those who lived and died along the waterways. Some paranormal enthusiasts believe that residual energy from these historical echoes has found a way to linger near the terrace, manifesting in subtle but persistent ways that can be felt by sensitive visitors or those who remain after hours. There have also been reports of sudden temperature changes or cold spots, especially near certain windows overlooking the water or along the hallways behind the dining area. Staff describe the sensation as if someone or something suddenly entered their space, despite the fact that no one else is around. Electronic disturbances have been noted as well, with lights flickering inexplicably and equipment occasionally malfunctioning in ways that cannot be explained. These subtle but consistent disturbances contribute to the terrace's reputation as a place where the veil between the living and the spectral may be particularly thin. Even the outdoor seating areas along the riverside are not immune to reports of paranormal activity. Visitors recount seeing shadowy forms among the trees, hearing the sounds of footsteps or soft voices when no one is present, and experiencing sudden sensations of being watched. These encounters often create a tension that contrasts sharply with the cheerful, whimsical atmosphere of Disneyland, leaving guests with a lingering feeling of unease long after they leave the terrace. Despite, or perhaps because of these mysterious experiences, the River Belle Terrace remains a popular destination for both dining and ghost enthusiasts. Many visitors are drawn not only by the delicious food and scenic views, but also by the tantalizing possibility of encountering something unexplainable. Staff have learned to accept the occasional strange happenings as part of their working environment. And for those willing to explore with an open mind, the terrace offers a unique blend of enchantment and eeriness that is rare in such a beloved family setting. The stories surrounding the Riverbell Terrace serve as a reminder that Disneyland, often considered the happiest place on Earth, harbors layers of mystery and paranormal intrigue. For those willing to look beyond the cheerful facades and whimsical attractions, subtle yet chilling encounters, like those at the terrace, hint at the unseen history lingering just beneath the surface. The juxtaposition of magic and menace creates a thrilling, spine-tingling experience for visitors and staff alike, making the Riverbell Terrace a uniquely haunting location within the park. Number 9. Phantom Firefighter at the Main Street Station, Disneyland, Anaheim, California. Among the many haunted legends of Disneyland, the tale of the Phantom Firefighter at the Main Street Station remains one of the most unnerving, a story that has persisted for decades and continues to frighten cast members who work late nights. The Main Street Fire Station is an iconic location, perched above the entrance to Disneyland and serving as Walt Disney's private apartment. However, it is not just a symbol of Disney history. It is said to be the epicenter of an unexplainable paranormal phenomenon, a place where the spirit of a firefighter lingers, ever vigilant. Cast members have described encountering a shadowy figure clad in full firefighter gear, appearing at the top of the stairs or near the station doors, often standing silently before vanishing without a trace. The presence is usually felt during the quiet hours after park closure, when the normally bustling streets fall into an eerie silence. Those who have seen him report a distinct aura, a combination of solemn duty and ghostly unease, as if he is fulfilling a task that was never completed in life. Some witnesses say that the figure is eerily lifelike, moving with precise and deliberate motions that suggest purpose rather than random wandering. The paranormal activity at the Main Street Station is not limited to visual sightings. Employees often speak of strange sounds, the metallic clanging of fire poles, muffled footsteps on wooden floors, and the distant sound of hoses being dragged, all when the area is completely empty. Some even claim to hear faint whispers, indistinguishable but unmistakably human, echoing through the halls late at night. The sensation of being watched is reported almost universally. A prickling feeling on the back of the neck, cold drafts, and sudden temperature drops that defy explanation. One particularly chilling account involves a maintenance worker who was performing routine checks in the early hours. He reported feeling a sudden, intense presence behind him, turning to see a fully uniformed firefighter standing motionless at the top of the stairs. When he called out, the figure did not respond, and before he could take another step, it vanished completely, leaving behind only the faint scent of smoke and the eerie echo of a muted alarm bell. This encounter has been repeated in various forms by numerous employees over the years, suggesting a consistent and tangible paranormal presence. Some theorists believe that the Phantom Firefighter is a guardian spirit, tied not only to the Main Street Station, but also to Walt Disney himself. Since the station overlooks the park entrance and Walt's private apartment, it is thought that the firefighter remains to ensure the safety of both the park and its creator's legacy. Others propose a darker explanation, that the spirit is a remnant of a tragic event or a firefighter who died in service long before Disneyland existed, his soul inexplicably connected to the site. Regardless of the origin, the presence of the Phantom Firefighter is felt as both protective and haunting, a silent reminder that Disneyland holds secrets beyond the cheerful facade of its attractions. Many visitors are completely unaware of these ghostly occurrences. Yet for those who work within the park, the legend of the Phantom Firefighter is a well-known tale, passed down from veteran cast members to new recruits. It serves as a chilling reminder that even the happiest place on earth has its shadows, places where the past lingers, refusing to fade into oblivion. The Main Street Station, with its high vantage point and historical significance, remains a focal point for these supernatural experiences, a place where the boundaries between the living and the spectral are perilously thin. Number 10. The Ghost of Walt Disney, Disneyland, Anaheim, California. The story of Walt Disney's ghost begins almost immediately after his death in 1966, yet it persists as one of the most chilling tales among Disneyland's many legends, lingering in the minds of park employees and visitors alike. Walt Disney, the man behind the magic, is said to have left more than just a legacy. Some claim that a part of him never truly left the park he created, continuing to wander the streets of Disneyland as an ethereal presence, watching over his kingdom of dreams and nightmares. Witnesses have reported seeing a tall, distinguished man with a thin frame, perfectly dressed in a suit, walking quietly through the park after closing hours. Some describe him as moving in a purposeful, almost business-like manner, inspecting attractions or walking toward areas he seemed particularly fond of. Employees swear that he is unmistakable, not only because of his appearance, but because of the aura of authority and calm that seems to follow him. It is said that his presence is at once comforting and unnerving, like an invisible guardian who also has the power to unsettle anyone who crosses his path unexpectedly. The sightings often occur near Walt Disney's private apartment, a small, nondescript space above the Firehouse on Main Street, USA, which he used as a secret retreat during the park's early years. This apartment was never open to the public, but many employees who worked late have claimed to hear faint music drifting from it late at night. The soft strains of a piano playing Disney tunes, some say, are impossible to explain, given that the apartment has been sealed and locked for decades. Others have reported seeing a shadowy figure peeking out from the windows, or even sitting in the chair near the fireplace, a subtle glow reflecting off the polished wood floors. Some of the eeriest encounters involve the famous Haunted Mansion ride, an attraction Walt personally oversaw during its development. Several cast members have recounted instances of seeing a man standing near the entrance after hours, watching guests as if ensuring the ghosts inside remained properly entertaining. Others report that the temperature in certain rooms of the mansion drops suddenly and inexplicably, and the air carries a faint scent of cigar smoke, Walt's signature aroma. The smell lingers just long enough to be noticed, then vanishes without explanation, leaving a cold chill in its wake. The Matterhorn bobsleds, another of Walt's beloved creations, has also been a hotspot for paranormal sightings. Late at night, maintenance workers have sometimes reported hearing footsteps on the mountain trails, the echo of a figure walking deliberately, though no one is there. Some even claim to have glimpsed a man in a suit standing at the summit, observing them before vanishing instantly. Cameras set up to monitor ride maintenance at night sometimes pick up strange anomalies, shadows that move independently of the environment, reflections in the glass that don't belong to any living person, or brief flashes of someone standing in the background. One of the most spine-chilling elements of Walt Disney's ghostly presence is the feeling of being watched. Employees who work the night shift have described an invisible gaze following them, a sense that someone is silently supervising their every movement. Some have even reported objects being moved slightly when they aren't looking, chairs shifting, tools disappearing and reappearing in unexpected places, all without human intervention. The most unnerving encounters occur near the original areas Walt frequented, such as the firehouse, the haunted mansion, and the Matterhorn, as if he refuses to leave the places that defined his legacy. As we reach the end of our spine-chilling journey through Disneyland's most haunted corners, it's clear that the happiest place on Earth hides shadows that even the most skeptical visitors cannot ignore. From the eerie corridors of the haunted mansion to the chilling whispers along the Riverbell Terrace, these paranormal hotspots remind us that magic and mystery often walk hand in hand. Whether it's the flicker of a ghostly figure, the sensation of an unseen presence, or the faint sound of footsteps when no one is around, Disneyland holds stories that will haunt your imagination long after the park gates close. If these tales sent shivers down your spine and left you questioning what might be lurking just beyond the happiest streets, there's no time like the present to dive deeper into the world of the unexplained. Share your thoughts, your experiences, or even your own ghost stories in the comments below. Did one of these encounters feel eerily familiar? Or perhaps you've visited Disneyland and noticed something that cannot be explained. We want to hear from you. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed our haunted journey through Disneyland, and share it with friends who love a good ghost story. If you're craving more terrifying encounters, haunted locations, and real paranormal mysteries from around the world, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. That way, you'll never miss a moment of the supernatural, the unexplained, and the downright horrifying. Every click, every comment, and every share helps us continue exploring the unseen, unraveling the stories that others don't dare to tell. So, if you're ready to step further into the unknown, join our community of thrill seekers and ghost hunters. Remember, Disneyland may be the happiest place on Earth, but as you've just discovered, even paradise has its shadows, and some hauntings are waiting for those brave enough to look. Like, share, and subscribe, because the world of ghosts, spirits, and supernatural mysteries is only a click away. Your next haunted adventure starts here.